What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Authentic Podcast. Well, we keep it very authentic, down to earth, genuine, and just show you guys just regular guys that are entrepreneurs and the hustle and grind and the highs and lows, the exciting moments, the not so exciting moments. And we have a very, very special guest. I'm gonna go into spill. I gotta give this guy his flowers. He's behind a lot of our favorite songs that we're hearing right now. If you know who Kodak Black is, I'd like to introduce you guys to Dyryk, the producer, the engineer, the genius, the most nicest guy. The most humbled guy. I don't even know. I know we don't got that much time because you're busy as hell. I already know that. But I want to introduce you guys to the one and only Dyryk. Yeah, man. Real quickly, because I raised so many questions, because this is a dope one for our guests and everything. For me as well. We were watching stuff on you all day today. We're like, we got to find out all this stuff. Like, I can't believe he's doing this and now he's behind this. I know you have told me stories it probably takes you forever to carry on everything.
I mean, the most of it unbelievable. You know what I mean? I think honestly, like, if anyone had to like get me to recite it all back, I don't think I could. You know, what I mean, just because there's like so many details and so many random things I would have. But I mean, that's the beauty of the whole journey. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not really supposed to be original.
It seems like it was just like. Definitely, like it was just meant to be. Universe aligned you with the perfect relationship partner.
I think it was, to tell you the truth, way before I even met him, I was already full-blown freelancing, mixing, engineering. So it was really like a muscle memory thing to be in the studio. But then I think when I met someone that was so sure of himself and so confident in his own music, it was just effortless for me because I didn't have to wait on another half. You know, sometimes when you engineer with writers, they're going to spend a minute, trying to piece the record together. But like someone like him, it just still blows my mind how he's just so sure of himself when it even comes to like performing.
Yeah. So speaking on that confidence, because I saw you mention that quite a few times. Where do you think that comes from? Is that just like something that's unteachable, or like someone that's listening to this right now? They obviously know that Kodak, and a lot of the artists are confident. They come with that dominant energy, that alpha energy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But how can someone that's just trying to get things started, head in that direction?
I think it really comes of not being really concerned over like who perceives what you're doing, Because I think at first, even through engineering or mixing, so conscious as to how people like receive my drums. They think the vocals are too loud, so I'm constantly obviously trying to please to a client, but it was always me battling with, I don't know what I thought the right answer was. And mixing is so subjective. Like there really is no right answer to anything. Yeah. So I think his lack of care as to what people thought about it got me to really start thinking like, I don't care how you really perceive it. You know what I mean? Yeah. If it's good to me, you should be able to read that energy off me that I think it's good, or I love my own production, or I think this mix is hitting, you know what I mean? And then that really kind of got me to just like be, choose more confidently, but for him, it's just like he doesn't second guess his own verse, just like I don't second guess my own, snare selection, you know what I mean? Like I kind of just, it's just like I feel it feels good and I move forward, and that helped really shed a lot of, all right, let me what is someone going to think? Is this artist going to think it's catered to them? And to tell you the truth, sometimes artists pick beats because they know it's something that you're onto that you may not even know that you're onto it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then they kind of enhance it and brought it to life. Because there's so many times you pick production of mine that I'm like, I would never have played this for you first, you know what I mean? Yeah, but that's the one reason why now when he asks for beats, I don't even really pick, I just kind of show him the folder and just be like, here, this is all I have. And he'll just go in it, put this to the side, put markers, you know what I mean? But that's something you want someone to kind of you always, it's sadly to say, you always need a leader, you know what I mean? So you always need someone to kind of lead as to what we're really doing. Because if not, then we're in the studio just staring at each other's faces for hours, wondering if this works, wondering if that works. But it takes a little spark for one of us to think, all right, this is worth crafting together. But it really, to me, it all stems from the fact that I don't really care how you receive it. And that somehow just gives me the weird confidence to say, you know what, then now let me just show you what I got. You know what I mean?
That's the biggest bar that I've heard in a long time is just that idea that, hey, no matter what I put out, this is my spirit, this is my energy, this is me as an artist or as in production. And, 9 times out of 10, people don't understand this, but, that's what actually attracts a lot of people because 90% of the world is not that.
No, exactly.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
people think you're onto something. It's that feeling where nobody wants to get left, of the party. It's like,
Yeah, the FOMO.
I gotta be able to figure out that if you're onto something or if you guys are all in a room bobbing your head, it's got to be for something, So that curiosity draws more people. And like, what are you guys onto, And I see it sometimes like we're out and about and we're in our own little world. It's like, it's a contagious feeling of, what are y'all up to? What are y'all working on? What are you doing? So it just goes to show that just, stay the course no matter what, you know what I mean? And all that kind of like attracts its way back to you, in time.
Question, Dyryk. Do you get this a lot that you're like extremely nice?
I don't know if I'm extremely nice or just like, no, just, if anyone really knows in this business, sometimes it's like, I could snap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not unjustifiable, I always feel like. So to me, I always like, you give people the benefit of the doubt. But I think being in this business for so long, you got a certain level of tolerance. And you've seen so many repetitive habits and bad habits of people that like, when it's just a spark of something, like my biggest pet peeve is when everyone tries to pull out their phones and just film, whether it's in the studio or outside in the parking lot, about to leave a venue. Because of course, everybody wants the whole, look who I'm with and look what I'm doing. But to me, it's like, if you don't see me do it, none of y'all should be doing that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's such a personal space that we have that you pulling out your phone just brings it all back to us bottling up and being like, you're clearly a rookie in this business. You know what I mean? Like,
that's good for people to hear that.
No, but if you're in this business and the first thing you do is pull out your phone, like you lost all credibility in our eyes. So it doesn't matter. You could have some of the greatest ideas or productions, but we don't take you serious because you came here just to pull out your phone and upload. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like what we're doing. But there's some people that I've literally just fucking gone off on because they're just like, they're filming and there's music going on in the background that's unreleased. So part of me is just kind of like, I don't understand what your thought process is,
Yeah.
And they know who they are, because I'll call them and just air them out being like, just help me understand what you were thinking. Like, let me upload. And you know what it all comes down to. It's like, they just want the traffic. They want a blog site to pick it up. And then next thing you know, it's their page being pushed around. So that type of stuff, that's when I just like, you can't play stupid in front of me. You know what I mean? Because I've been through so many of those like rooms with the interns, people just acting, over the top and doing the extra shit. You know what I mean? But it's a different thing, man. You got to realize that people act different around artists. It's just especially, I don't know what it is, about Yak. It's like an obsessing thing where everyone comes around and they try to like, let me do all the things I can for you, willingly as much as you can. But, they don't really like understand that there's like, a hierarchy to this shit. You know what I mean? Like there's people in play and, when it's supposed to be someone personal to him or not personal to him, you got to kind of like treat the whole board across the line respect because in seconds we all can just bump you out of the whole circle. You know what I mean? And that's as sad as it is because there's like maybe like 3 people that we can do all roles. We can do every job for him. So it's kind of weird when like some people really like, nah, I can get you jets, or I can go ahead and get you this, or I got a guy that does car rentals.
That's be so interesting.
And it's cool because it's like, yeah, no, please, if it's cheaper, by all means, you know what I mean? Let's go with your way. But when you see that it's like because they get the recommendation or, they bought the clothes at their Louis accounts or they're the ones getting the look, you know what I mean? It's just like these little like sneaky, like, let me just utilize the name drop, you know what I mean? To kind of go in. And to me, it's like, I get it, because I've been in this business already, but when you come around doing it with us, that's like, to me, I just got kind of go off. You know what I mean?
You can pick up on it.
But then, there's people that obviously have great hearts and good intentions, and that's why I almost like I want to put wood to fire for people that I know. I could, what's that saying? Like, I could fish for you, or I could teach you how to fish, and you feed yourself forever. So like people that are willing to adapt and learn, that's kind of like where I'm really more attracted to just really giving them all the sources I got. I'll put them in touch with anybody, and I just knowing that what your potential is, but on the opposite side, there's always those people that just kind of like,
Well, I could just definitely tell, man, that you do a lot more than what you probably gave him credit for. I could just tell by your demeanor. And I really want to thank you for it. You didn't even know me, man, and you were like on the phone for like who knows how long, getting me into Rolling Loud, which was, mind you made my whole year. I had a rough year of business, had to deal with so much stuff, and that was like
you were on the phone.
That was
you
dope.
see what it takes, man. You just gotta like strong arm people and be like, look, I don't give a fuck what you're told. Like this is what's going on. This is what's happening. You know what I mean? But stuff like that, like you said, there was always people with point of contact. So I think it's a thing where you got to take initiative because you're right. I met Yak through engineering, you know what I mean? And then it came to like playing him beats, and then I started mixing all his music. And then all the other business that had to do with whether it be as entertainment attorney, criminal attorney, accountant, all that stuff, it was like understanding of this is our conveyor belt, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like I was saying, let me go do every role possible. It's just I kept absorbing more and more around what it took to make this whole thing move as a unit, that I was like, you know what, anything you need me for, you know? So to me, it's like, it's now it's muscle memory, whether it comes to, you know, leaving town, getting travel, hotels, security, car service, car rentals. It like, to me now, it like I said, it's like driving stick shift. I don't really think about it. It's just part of our motion of we gotta move, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, we've been in situations like where, you know, taking off, a bird hit our fucking windshield and smashed the windshield, you know what I mean? So the pilot couldn't take off, but we're trying to make it back home by a certain hour. So scrambling operators, finding another plane, finding a crew, you know? So things are very unpredictable, but that's honestly what crafts you to, like, you know, make a better judgment call and faster, you know?
So it definitely probably made you build a skill of like being able to solve problems like fast and like now.
No, I mean, yeah, because sometimes it's serious. You know, we've been stuck in Baltimore. We've been, you know what I mean? We've been in situations where like I mean, before anything, my outlook and my intentions always is like, you know, we're a family, we're a tribe. We got to leave together. We got to come home together. So to me, the job isn't even done until I know we're all back at our house, you know? So whether we're in a different city, state, at a venue, doesn't matter. It's like you still got to go with this mentality of like, we got to move our crew, you know what I mean? And that's the only thing that kind of just absorbs my mind when we're on the road, you know?
Yeah.
You got to be able to like just make sure that everyone's good, you know? But
it seems like I feel like it's a different type of, because you're playing like every department damn near.
Yeah, but I mean, I got to compartmentalize, like a project's coming out. I already did all my like, you know, clean edits, my mixing, my ready to master. So when it comes to the music side, I already know that's good to go. But then if we have like, you know, like I said, we have music videos coming up, we have, you know, walkthroughs, we have performances. It's like you kind of find little spaces for everything and be like, all right, that's taken care of. Put yourself, you know, to rest with that. Yeah. And to me, like, I'm a firm believer with just anxiety is always trying to live in the future. You know what I mean? Always thinking to yourself like, all right, what about this coming up? What about that coming up? And I just really always fight that, because if I think about like, you know, this whole 22-day tour we're coming up right now, and every city we go to and buses, like, of course I'm gonna be overwhelmed, you know what I mean? But I don't think about that. I just gotta think about what I gotta do right now, you know? and tonight and tomorrow. But it's a love, you know what I mean? Like, to anyone just jumping on a moving treadmill right now, it'd be a frightening thing, because it'd be like so many things go on, and of course people wanna do it without, you know, fucking up or whatever it may be. But it's just one of those things that when you experience it once, you just kind of understand that routine of like, this is what it takes just to get the job done. You know what I mean? Only care about is just getting from point A to point B. Like, I don't care about crew, entourage, people saying they're at the door. Oh my God, we're at the artist entrance. Where are you? Like, especially Rolling Loud. That's one reason I just like, I shut off everything. Cause it's like, look, yes, we all know you. We're all cool. But right now, I only give a shit about making this kid go on stage. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I should care about. And I tell, you know, if you're with us, like, if you're not working, then you're just hanging out. And then I just like shut my mind off to you, because you're a liability, you know? You're not even like, I'm more concerned that the DJ is like in the shower ready to go downstairs than anything, you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna be caring about 20 other people and how they view a show. But
was this Rolling Loud to you like unorganized a little bit?
No, actually, I think they're over-organized. Yeah, because they have the situation where once you perform and you're done, they literally put you on a sprinter, take you straight to the car and push you out. So no artist ever gets to hang out there more than like what their set time is, because they're worried about conflicting crews and all sorts of stuff. But we just naturally drag ass. So we like, you know, we were late, and when we were performing, that was kind of like, I knew we're like, all right, let's catch up. But I was working, you know, for the past year, since last year, I worked on him and Kendrick Lamar's relationship through Kendrick's manager that I knew from way back in the day, you know? But I knew Kendrick closing, I'm like, we're gonna have permission to stay there because he's gonna want to come out later. So it's easier to like work your set a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, yo, we're not leaving right away. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna chill in the green room, this and that. But I think they're just very, very strict. I mean, they keep changing like wristband colors, so it doesn't matter who you're with on the previous set. Everyone's got to go. So
I forgot the guy's name, but he works out at my gym. I've seen him a few times. And I sometimes just looking at him, I'm just like, damn, I know that shit is stressful. Because I even heard David Gretman talking about like, yeah, the events are stressful. And I'm like, David Gretman's life has to be stressful. You know what I'm saying? Like,
to me, it's a business transaction. You know what I mean? As much as it's fun and like the experience, but someone got paid to be here for a certain amount of time. And like, even when we go to walkthroughs, like in other cities, I got a timer on my phone. So I know once that like 30 to 45 minutes is up, I'll just go to him and be like, look, you're contractually obligated, you know, it's done. Whatever you want to do, we can leave right now if you want to leave, you know? But to me, that's like, I got to remind that, because and if not, then it gets kind of chaotic, because everyone's just going to hang out as long as they want. And, you know, of course, the promoter wants them to hang out as much as possible, because he can keep milking the shit out of it, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, the little game they play, but to me, I'm like, oh, we're good, everyone's cool, we're getting out of here, you know what I mean?
So
like
that game that they usually try to play is probably like trying to get them to about an extra service and make
I mean, promoters, they try to,
whatever it is.
Promoters all lie about the capacity of their venue. You know what I mean? Because you always try to gauge on that, like, no, I can only fit this, and no, but those are like, you know, rich crypto guys, and then, you know, we can't use those tables, and it's always like, you know, they're trying to manipulate how many people they could fit. They obviously are trying to use like promotion as like, oh no, we only have a week to promote, we only have a month, you know, all this and that. But to me, like, I mean, I think it's easier when you're in town, you know, since we're in the city and we kind of can do walkthroughs here. It ain't that crazy just to pop.
How's it feel for you, man? Like being, like knowing that you guys are in Miami, and Miami's a hot place, because I'm originally from California, that's where I grew up. But I am connected. We are brothers in a way. I was born in Broward County, swear to God. But I grew up in Cali. But I even have Florida tattoo right here, and I have LA right here. I know I'm like both places, like. But
get stamped. It's
but how does it feel to like, because you guys are it. Like I don't know of any. I don't want to even say no one else's name, but you guys are really the main like artists. Like people do go crazy for what you guys are like. You're creating everything that you guys are doing. It's like.
I mean, I think it's just like it's also being involved in your own community. I feel like, I mean, for me, even as production, I hated all these producers that'd go and be like, oh, I'm gonna go to LA and move there, and I, you know, can't wait to work with this person, like that one, and I'm just like, why? Like, no one gives a shit about you, you know what I mean? Like, it's the most pointless thing to go there and like beg to impress somebody, you know what I mean? But to me, it's like, it's more rewarding when people actually want to like come to you for what it is you do. But something in my head at the time, I was like, I don't see myself going to LA, I don't see myself going to New York or Atlanta and trying to just like do all I can to be the next Murder Beats, or like, you know what I mean? People that just go over the top. But I think it means more because I'm from here, and at the same time, I'm part of something out of my own city. You know what I mean? That's where I knew that I had to throw like a cinder block to the gas pedal, because it's more of a personal thing now. You know what I mean? Like, this is my own city. I was literally born at Mount Sinai. Spent my whole life on the beach. Like, everyone's like, oh, I'm from Miami, you know, people that come from New Orleans. And everyone's like, oh yeah, you know, we're here, like, you know, big DJs and all that shit. It bothers me, because I'm just like, you guys come here to enjoy the stage, but none of you are true locals, you know what I mean? But when you get a true local out of, whether it be here or get a true local out of Broward, for people from there, it's more personal. You're just like, well, this is someone that really does know, you know, my favorite fucking shop, my favorite, you know what I mean?
Certain streets. And
and I think it became like more of a snowball effect over the years, because of someone like him that just developed a story, and people knew what he was, that despite all his, you know, ups and downs, it kind of, over the time span of the whole picture, it was getting more and more like very, very like, you know, personal, you know what I mean? Like everyone in Broward could relate to him, you know what I mean? Everyone in Florida felt good because it was, you know, our guy, you know? And then after him, of course, we had a whole chain of like, you know, other great people like X and everyone, you know what I mean? That out of Florida that really started started really like pushing the envelope. And now Florida's like one of the most looked at cities for every A&R to see what's coming out of here now. You know what I mean?
RP X, because that was, that's.
No, yeah, but I think.
love when they collab.
But things like that, it's like, you gotta understand when you have a lightning in a bottle. You know what I mean? And when those things are happening around you, you gotta just give it your all, you know? And I saw that easily with, you know, with Kodak, because it was just how fast he was putting just stories into songs or emotions into music, and it's just the transparency behind it was so effortless that I'm like, this is what writers spend hours trying to figure out how to make a verse cool, but to him, he just naturally knows how to like approach it, you know what I mean? It just makes it interesting, and of course his little antics and his little like sayings and shit like that kind of fuel it all, but that's natural creativity. Like, no, I don't think anyone has a big enough imagination like the way he does, and when it comes to their music, because I'll listen to, you know, projects that come out, and I don't know why, it starts becoming like very stagnant, you know what I mean? Like I know what to expect the next song, you know? Like, a lot of people are like that. It's just the one song, you could predict the next 5, you know? But yeah, no, man, it's just, it comes from like, you know, an individual approach to a lot of things, where if this city means something to you, then you should be really working nothing but in your own city, you know? I wasn't gonna just abandon my town and be like, all right, let me go put someone from LA on, or let me go, give a dope beat to someone from Atlanta or New York. Like, it doesn't, I personally wouldn't feel good, you know what I mean? Because I'd be like, damn, like, I had to leave my town to make it. Nah, hell no. Everybody wants to know that, like, they did something for their own city, so.
So I got a question real quick. So obviously, you're, a part of some of the biggest productions in the entire world with, this artist and other things that you've done in the past. What was that transition like, or have you always kind of like been in the light but kind of in the background, maybe high school, college, like walk us through that a little bit. Like, what was that?
I think I appreciated this business quicker early on. My older brother, he was really close with Ashley Gibb. Now, Ashley Gibb's dad is Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees. So when I was younger, I would always go to with my brother and hang out with his friends, but going to Ashley's house, we'd be able to go to Barry Gibb's house on North Bear Road. And it was interesting because I was younger, but I'd see pictures with him and Barbra Streisand and then him and Michael Jackson. And I started piecing together, I'm like, who's this Barry guy? You know what I mean? I don't know much about the Bee Gees at the time, but then it started resonating who he was and how big of an impact the Bee Gees were in our entire music. So it started getting me to understand it from an appreciation level. But then, I've been playing drums since I was 9 years old. So I've always been playing in a band with people. I think that whole idea of transitioning into the studio world just got me to really appreciate the art in itself, just what a recording takes. And, there's some great people like Tom Dowd who invented the faders on mixing boards and was the first people to record Aretha Franklin. These guys pioneered how to even approach what this all is. And so I guess, to once I got out of high school, it was kind of easier for me to really understand, there's a lot to this, and especially me just being a musician, it's a tool. It's really something that helped me get whatever it is I want to express. So whether it be recording my own band or recording other people, it got me really familiar, almost desensitized to the idea that it's just one person in front of a microphone in a booth. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is, And then I think after high school, when I started working at a Circle House Studios, one of my first sessions was with Justin Timberlake. And that's what kind of was it was a eye opener because I was like, I've been in the recording situations before. What's any different than another motherfucker in front of the microphone? But that's when I just started just shedding this whole thing. It doesn't matter who it is. I recorded Shakira on She-Wolf years ago. You know what I mean? Between T-Pain when he was killing it, Fat Joe, Diddy's making the band, that era, Flo Rida and all Playboy. That era was just constantly people blowing up, and Khaled just,
that was crazy.
Khaled just got through dropping, he got through dropping We Taken Over. Pitbull was on fire. You know what I mean? I know Po' Boy was killing it with Rick Ross and Flo Rida and all those people. Of course, they had Briscoe, Billy Boo, and all those people. So it was kind of you saw the city coming up. But when you're in the studio with them, it's just work. You know what I mean? That was 2007, 2006. Yeah. I started working at Circle House in 2007. Yeah, and I was there for 5 years.
So to the drumming thing real quick. So you actually had your own concerts that you were a part of doing the drums.
No, I mean, I was part of really hardcore screamo bands. You know what I mean? Aggressive as fuck. Just.
For some reason I can't see that market here.
And that's why I stopped doing it. But
Cali,
when you're younger, it's fun because I was into skateboarding. It's a scene, you know what I mean? You're always part of a scene. You always go to Pompano Skate Park and just perform there.
I'm a skater.
Yeah.
I don't look like it.
No. I mean, that was huge, you know what I mean? But then, it got to the point that you try to do anything studio work with rock music, it's not gonna work, you know? And that's kind of where I was starting to really get hit with this is where everyone says, "Oh, you're just doing music. It's gonna forever be a hobby." Because what is the end result in that world? You know what I mean? But I think when I got into a recording studio, I saw it differently because I didn't give a shit about there's a hot artist or not. I saw amazing producers. I saw amazing songwriters, and I started realizing that one guy I was working with, he's Mary J. Blige's guy. You know what I mean? So working with him, recording him. All his songs kept getting placed on Mary J. Blige's music, or think Like a Man 2 soundtrack. So it's if I stick with one person, they have their own. I mean, I got to be a part of Jamie Foxx's album because of the same songwriter I was working with. That I started recognizing that it's individual people that just have their own, lanes of things, and whether it be rock or country or rap, it doesn't matter. You gotta. Everyone's got their own little situation going on. So as an engineer, that got me to understand that songwriters are so valuable. You know what I mean? They get put in all the rooms of people creating some of the greatest records that we don't even know were written by somebody else. You know what I mean? So that got me it all humbles you because you realize that as much as you go around saying how cool your music is and how dope your shit is, that is the last person on earth that should be like rooting for you. You know what I mean? Yeah, you should have everybody else tell you how good your work is and how good your projects come along. Yeah. And that kind of like gets you to understand a little bit more like, where am I in the spectrum? You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot of us.
I definitely feel like we live in an era where you're gonna be praised in our era, because people like to see like who's actually behind like the companies, the brand, stuff like that. Yeah. We kind of live in that era now. Like people want to know who the producer, who wrote the song. Because before I feel like they weren't getting that much credit, but I feel like now,
yeah, it's crazy. No, but I mean, as it happens, you don't really think that way. You know what I mean? Because work is just work. You kind of just want to get things going, and and just you don't want to get the job done. And I guess I'm sure no one edits videos thinking like, oh man, this is what I had in mind the whole time. You kind of go with it as the project kind of unfolds. So I think that's the biggest tool, man. It's just you got to invest in your judgment in all this, because it doesn't matter if I'm in a room in LA or in New York. Like I've been in enough mixing boards where I can understand like where the microphone is, you know what I mean? And that's what you want. You just want a good enough compass on you.
I enter a studio, I'm lost. I see it looks like a crazy new tech computer pilot jet system. Like that's what they look like to me sometimes.
Cool thing, the mixing board is like, it's just one channel, right? Once you understand that signal flow, it's all duplicated across the whole board. So when you know one channel, you know the whole rest. That's what kind of like you're organizing what's going where. And that's like, to me, that's, if you don't develop that skill through like experiences and actual gigs, you're never going to know how to think fast enough in certain things, Yeah. I mean, I've been in rooms where like the power went out, you know what I mean? And it's like, what do you do there? But you got to like quickly be in every scenario possible. Like you never know.
So for the people watching, I know we're going to have some artists and individuals that are trying to piece together like what their next move is, as a musician or engineer. But speaking more on like the artist side, when is it appropriate or when is a good time for a person to seek out writers or, and have all these different components that you're describing right now? Like, how does somebody measure themselves to be, okay, bet, like when I get to that's when I should start to...
Well, yeah, I think with writers, unless you truly feel comfortable collabing with somebody and feel like they can kind of like give, whether it be your lyrics life or give you better melodies to your lyrics, that's something you got to really feel good about, because I've seen, artists work with writers and the next thing you know, it's like they just, after a while, they feel a certain way, like, damn, like, this person's writing all my music and I, what is it about my verse that's not really like cutting it? But, I kind of let people hit themselves against a wall a couple times to realize like, this is the way you write, this is whether it works or not, you got to kind of come face to face with your own creativity, Yeah. And then, there's other calls where you tell people like, look, there could be an artist and a songwriter that are so similar and you just know something about them too, would just click. Yeah. You want that marriage to kind of happen, and get people to really think like, maybe this person can add some like, cool, alternative intakes of like what it is that I do. Yeah. But to tell you the truth, you can't do that unless you're really comfortable and ready, because forcing a writer, it's only going to make you not just vibe and, throw the whole session off. And then next thing you know, someone came up with a cooler line. Everyone loves it. You know what I mean? And then the artist is sitting there like, damn, I can't even come up with that on my own. And just, you gotta be cautious, man. People are very like sensitive when it comes to studio sessions as to how they, people are like, I guess receiving their work.
Yeah, and I just got back in the studio here recently. Van actually showed up as well.
I came up for emotional support.
It's definitely like you're super vulnerable. Like when you're speaking or whatever. Like I had some notes in the last session. I noticed with other people there, I wasn't able to hit those same notes or be as wacky or be as crazy or whatever. So I definitely feel what you're saying.
It's hard because you got to think of it when you're an artist and you're about to get on stage, right? Mm-hmm. People are there, you got to turn it on. You know what I mean? You can't just like half-ass it all of a sudden it's a show. Yeah. It's so weird because when you're in the studio, not only is it dead quiet, we're all chill. There's really no energy going around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No one's hyped, no one's fired up to see you. No one's like, oh yeah, this and that. So for you to just turn on a performance instantly in the booth, it's hard. It's got to be hard because you're not even in that, mindset, but you got to act super hyper on the song, That's, that's one thing like I credit Yak for, is because it doesn't matter whether you just finished a phone call or not. When it comes time to really delivering a verse, like he's become so animated. He comes to life, and he says it very like firm, direct. He projects like he doesn't, Like the way you hear so many of these verses is literally him on one take, just like acting. Not acting, but like, just verbalizing the shit as if he's on stage and performing the shit, you know what I mean? But for artists, it's hard because, if you go into a studio, you're kind of like, cautious of who's in the studio session. Someone that's very not experienced has their 2 cents that really doesn't fucking matter, you know what I mean? Like, why are you even here? But things like that, it's like, it can throw you off and just make you feel like you don't want to do it, you know what I mean? But I always suggest people, like, if it isn't just you and an engineer that you're comfortable with, try to record by yourself, There's really no better confident feeling of just you completely doing things, not even being judged as to your decisions or, I feel that way about beats. Like, I can't make beats and with people looking over me and then thinking like, yeah, man, but why don't you just try this open hi-hat? It's like, man, I don't even know if I like that shit. I just threw it there so I could hear it for now, you know what I mean? And then in time, after all the tweaks, so then you're like, all right, cool. Now I got it to a space where I want people to hear this, but it's so weird in the middle of the process because then people are just, I don't know, they're bored, you know what I mean? Like, they're hearing the same snare over and over again. Like, what are you working on? Like, you sure that piano's gonna work? Like, it's just the littlest things that you kind of want to keep your imagination going, but people in rooms can throw you off sometimes,
Dyryk, how do you feel about like where music is going on I want to ask on the marketing side, but just like the sound, like how it's kind of like has like the rock, I don't remember that whole mumble rap era, a lot of other, older didn't like it.
It's so weird for me because I feel like from a sonic level, things are becoming faster. You know what I mean? Like, take auto-tune, just slam it on 100, and it's gonna sound like something. You know what I mean? Like, in the regard, I mean, that's sometimes some artists. It's weird because it isn't something that I jump in the car and play immediately. You know what I mean? But when I listen back to it, I kind of get how the younger generation adapts to it. Like a lot of it, like some of the biggest artists today, it's really like elementary school kids and middle school kids that are going crazy over them. You know what I mean?
I've been told. Done music.
No, but then when I listen to the artists, it's like highly processed auto-tune, really fast words. I gotta kind of listen to it maybe once or twice to understand what they were saying. So I feel like now I'm not even listening to like, all right, cool, let me see what like Jay Electronica or Nas has to say and like really hear some like
everybody's trying to catch a vibe.
So to me it's like I'm not learning anything new. You know what I mean? From their words or I mean it's just storytelling. That's what it's come down to. It's just what's your story and how do you tell it, and everyone's got their own story and it's not like no one's story matters, but there's some times where I'm just completely turned off because I'm like, bro, I don't know what it is. You're like, it's like too many words slammed through auto-tune at once that I'm like, I don't, kudos, bro.
Like, I feel like I'm definitely big on hearing like a like high energy beat. I think it's like energy for me.
But that's the thing, because even if you look at some of the biggest music you love, you don't know word for word. You know what I mean? Like it's just the emotion that it gives you just by listening it through, and that's I don't know, man. Sometimes, like especially like even rolling it loud and hearing some records that I've heard before, but to see a crowd react to them, it's a whole different take on listening to the song. And X was kind of the first person to do that because after he got out last time, and then Look at Me was doing huge.
Oh my gosh!
I went with him to Rolling Loud when he did it back in Bayside, and just hearing a record like Look at Me that loud in front of everybody, it really sank in like what records are capable of, and what that could do for just people that want to just fuck shit up, But music nowadays it's becoming way faster, and I mean that's why, because our attention span is shorter. We drop a project, in the next 2-3 weeks we're on to the next project. You know what I mean?
I do want to know your take on like what you guys is like. I mean, obviously you can't give me all you guys' sauce secrets how you guys do marketing, but what's a platform that you guys definitely like right now when it comes to music being placed on there? That's not like Apple or Tidal, but like maybe like TikTok or.
See, TikTok, I'm starting to realize that it does well because it comes with a lot of numbers. You know what I mean? Like there's an insane amount of people in that community that one video on TikTok can get you in the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, but on Instagram it only gets you like maybe 2,000-3,000. So clearly there's so much more traffic going on TikTok that it helps, and I know labels are really pushing the whole get your song on there, because even if you get on one video, sure, maybe like you won't get the full 10 million people that the person has a following of, but you still can get 2.5 or 5 million people to still like your song or stream it. But I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's a tool, but to me, it's like a little unnatural. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. Maybe I'm just different. I don't go and make a TikTok instantly because of a cool song. It's mostly people that are already like highly influenced with it kind of make their dance.
I've noticed with myself that I've been finding music on there because of maybe some like random trend or something.
No, yeah, no.
And I'm just scrolling, I hear a song, and I'm like, what song is this? And then they showed at the bottom, and I don't download it. But I feel like that's how I've been discovering music, honestly, right now it's through TikTok.
No, I mean, it's like I said, it's another powerful tool because, I mean, I used to just literally sit there when Pandora first came out and listen to music and judge like how it went. And they would actually show me some cool new shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, look, if we all spent the day...
What's that process called again? I forgot when they, like, it's kind of like a playlist. Like when they like have like, they just show you new music. It's like their own shuffle playlist that they have embedded in their platform.
I mean, to me, it's like the new radio.
Yeah,
because it's obviously picking the songs for you, but the only reason why I really love Pandora is because I knew they did take an effort to understand certain textures or tendencies in music that you would like. So when they suggest the next one, it would fucking damn near hit it on the head. Like, yo, this is dope. I like this. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's hard to say because to tell you the truth, if you just take the time and go on the internet and look everywhere, you're gonna of course come across music you love and new stuff. You know, I always do when I just take that gamble of like, let me see what this is about. And then, you know, there's always like 2-3 songs. I'm like, this is fire. But you gotta, I mean, that's also like, you know, the A&R side of you. You know what I mean? Like you kind of are digging to see what it is and try to find something like, you know, I don't know, a new act out of London. You know what I mean? I forgot what that was. It Pink Pantheress? You heard of that chick?
Pink Panthers from London?
Yeah, she's like some girl from London, but she's another one where her songs started blowing up on TikTok. You know what I mean? And it's like it's kind of cool because you hear something interesting and then you go on your own. And just
question: has Kodak ever done a song with like a UK rapper? Like I love UK rap.
That would be interesting.
I'm like one of the people that listen to UK rap.
We had a feature he did for this girl. I forgot her name.
That would go crazy. I feel
It would.
I know. We did, you know, Central C did send over that remix, you know what I mean, to get on, but we haven't decided yet.
How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay.
I think that threw us all off, so that's why we're like, you know what I mean? We're like, what is going on in London?
I listen to some of his music.
No, yeah.
Shout out Central C, UK fam.
No, yeah, but I love London, what they got going on. There's something about like, it's weird. It's like it'd be hip hop, but they keep throwing that drum and bass out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
I feel like you guys definitely will be able to smash.
No, we're gonna go over there. You know, he just recently did Paris for Paris Fashion Week, and you know that was one of his first tastes of going overseas. You know, but it's always there.
How do you guys like that as a unit?
I mean, it was dope. Paris is different. You know what I mean? I already know that, like just off of people telling me how different it is. But, you know, I think it's just that idea that Europe is a whole other market, a whole other monster that people, I mean, artists do go over there, but, you know, they fiend music just as much as we do. You know what I mean? So we gotta cater it over there. But London, I've been dying to go to because I just, you know, hear it's
London's definitely.
I hear it's a lot of fun over there. But yeah, man, I think collabs is never really like, you know, bother. You know, he never really hesitates to them. It's gotta make sense, you know. If a record like fits him or sounds like him, he's gonna do it. But you know, if it's too forced or if it's too much of a this collab is like, you know, trying to be put together through other people. Like it's not. I don't know. It doesn't really resonate, or I don't feel like we impact our fans the same way. You know, he's on fire with features lately. You know what I mean? He's been doing nonstop features and like, you know, killing them. But it's just like, you know, like not every feature makes sense.
Checks coming in. You
know, You see with music, man, because of like even royalties, like we all live in the future, you know. So anything we do now, we know we're not even.
I like that. Can't Stop, Won't Stop.
Yeah, that's what's crazy because Can't Stop, that was his record. I mean, same thing with Mob Stick. It was his record, and if you take Mob Stick and put all his vocals together, that's how it originally sounded. Yeah. And then French Montana being French Montana, you know, just coming in and just piecing it together so it's like he finds a home within the record. It's like the Diddy fucking, you know, tape. You know what I mean? Let me just go insert myself in something and just make it cool and relevant again. But that whole record was like all which I love, but the same thing with Don't Stop. That was all him just ripping it straight through. And then, you know, we eventually gave it to King Combs, you know, because it made sense, you know.
Just like showing love as well.
Showing love, you know, we definitely wanted to make that sample clear.
It made business sense for sure.
No, we wanted to. I mean, it was just gonna make sense, you know. If not, they were gonna probably hit us over the head for the sample clearance. So we're like, fuck it, let's just all make this make sense.
Okay, so I don't know if I saw this like on Full Send podcast or something. Something to do with you guys and like Drake trying to. I don't know. Is he trying to sign, or is that just some?
No, I mean Drake's been showing us a lot of love. I mean, we have like 8 records together with him. You know what I mean? What he wants to do with them, it's all up to him. You know what I mean? But it's always been there. They've always had their own like, relationship of just, tapping in here and there, but I don't know, we're kind of just, we're one of those people that if we're doing records together and you don't use it, like, stop talking to us about doing records, you know what I mean? Well, look, I mean, Kendrick was different because Kendrick, we go to the studio, he of course played us some of the songs off his album, but then played us exactly what he had in mind, you know what I mean? And then, he wanted us to do little things, or him to do little things like say these names in a row, you know what I mean? And that's how the whole album kind of got put together because we did it all in one shot, and Kendrick really placed like his poetry take on that interlude, and then made sure he spoke before this record, and then made sure this record was there. But the thing about it is that everything we recorded, Kendrick used all of it. You know what I mean? So that was such a bigger like comparison to like someone like Drake that just we did 7 records, and one of them ended up on this last album without our verse. You know what I mean? The other one was like, oh no, we're not using it. So it's like we get it, but we're not like spring chicken here. You know what I mean? Like we've done this so many times that like if you're serious or you're not serious. You know what I mean?
That would be kind of like something that we would deal with if like a client asking for like a whole like proposal thing, and then you put this whole proposal together. And they don't use it.
I don't use it. And the other guy asked you for a proposal. I was like, oh, here you go. And it's like,
I'm tired. Hey guys,
everything's said and done. You're
I'm
like,
charging for proposals at this point. Like that's how you feel because it's like
you give everything a chance and you see what it is, but like I just already knew. Like I mean, I've just known through doing so much of releases that when the paperwork's coming in, or they're starting to inquiry about who's part of this and that, or
that's when you know.
Credentials. That's when I know, okay, it's real. You know what I mean? Because Kendrick's people off rip, we're just hitting our people up, like what's going on? Is this cool? That cool? So we're like, they're moving on it. You know what I mean?
So I've been around some some music stuff and some different things as well, and what I've noticed is that sometimes people do those collabs. I'm not saying Drake is doing this or anything, but sometimes people do those collabs just to also, this is the jungle still. No matter you think everything's cool, friends, all that, it's still the jungle. So I noticed that there are some artists or even, NBA players or whoever, they'll do workouts with people and kind of like, it'll be love, but at the same time, they're like, okay, yeah, jump on this track, okay, do this. Oh, show me that move or whatever. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then they don't do anything with that material that they just did together. So it kind of makes me feel weird about like the industry and also at a certain level of, I don't know what you would call it, a certain level, just in multiple industries. So, with you having that experience, like, and seeing that happen multiple times, like, how do you keep your cool versus like every time it happens, you're saying something like, yo, like what the fuck is going on?
A lot of people try to collab, even like with me in production. But to me, it's like I try to gauge my own energy in it. Like, am I excited to collab with you? You know what I mean? Like, do I want to do it? But the thing is, I can kind of read that in other people. Like, if you tell someone's not really like all the way excited to like, make sure they write their verse or get that done. I'm kind of like, look, man, we don't got to do this at all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one to just quickly put a session on pause and just being like, if it's my session, I'd be like, bro, we can just go chill and not do this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all about being in my socks and going home right now. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I want to be like, have this feeling invoked in me where I'm like, yo, I want to see this put together. You know what I mean? I want to see this complete.
All parties.
Yeah, exactly. But then you can't tell, sometimes with people how serious they are because the opposite side, people would want to try their hardest to like, get a record with Yak, this and that, but you don't even know that some of these artists are trying to get their verse from Yak so hard because then they're going to use that to go lily pad something else and being like, well, look, I got a verse with Kodak. Now they believe me. And like I've heard from artists that are like popping right now that like, because of Yak's verse, they were able to go get a couple, extra commas on their shit just because, oh, you have something with this, cool, but that's the part where it's like some people are overly excited to get a collab going, and then some people that are like, don't care. I kind of like for the people that don't care, you know what I mean? Because I'm kind of like in that same mode, like let's give each other a reason to really want to do this. Because if not, at least we're not bullshitting each other, you know what I mean? We can go and have lunch and like not talk about music. Like I'd be more than thrilled. And sometimes like, big mix engineers or big people in this business that I look up to and A&Rs, I'd rather do nothing music related, you know what I mean? And go like to Smoothie King or go get some food because to me, I'm just trying to show you that I really don't give a shit about the music, you know what I mean? Because all of us can do this. Anyone can get in a room and all put our heads together and figure it out, But I've developed better relationships with like, mix engineers like Brian Stanley or Lou Diaz because you know, we don't even talk about music really. You know what I mean, we'll talk about it if we need to, but it's just, you know, we're over the whole hype of, you know, sitting in a studio like, man, have you heard this record? Have you heard that record? Like, we know a little bit of like what's going on, but now it's a chance for us to actually be personal. You know who's like that? Action Bronson. If you mention anything about music, he'll just kick you out of the room. He's like, he doesn't care. You know what I mean? He'll just be like, boom! No, he'll just be like, you know, but you know, you walk in a room and be like, yeah, man, did you hear that new keyboard that came in? Like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? You know what I mean? Like, we as personal people don't even go in the studio and talk about like gear. Like, we're not even talking about gear right now. We're not talking about who's number one.
Something that's like kind of probably fairly new.
But it's so easily, you can pick that up in seconds. You know what I mean? And that's when you're like, look, you know, you're not really here the same reason where, yeah. You know what I mean? Because what did that do? That caused an artist to grab their pen and pad and go in the other room and write. Because then I feel like, I don't know who you are, but you're clearly like not used to this, you know what I mean? And if they're focused on a project, they're not, you know, they're going to want to stick to their own shit. But that's what I'm saying. You can pick up people's energy when it comes to what this actually means to them. So if you see the care, you know, they care to the end of the world and back, then treat the respect behind that, you know what I mean? And that's, you know, same with Yak, you know, he can know exactly at what minute a line was said, you know what I mean? Like, go back to like, you know, 30 seconds when I said this. And to me, it's like, because I know he's so aware of his own music, I treat it with even more respect because he's looking at his own craft like, this
it's so dope to hear how it's giving me, I'm pretty sure giving a lot of, because I'm already a huge fan of Kodak and stuff, but I just know probably a lot of people are gonna hear these things like, it's really important and like to have the passion and put a lot of work and attention to details, and that's what I'm hearing. You know?
All credit goes to him, man, to tell you the truth. As much as people are like, oh, you know, you do so much. I mean, I'll do what I can because I love the kid. You know what I mean? I've been with him for years, and I just want like a family member to just be in a better position in every scenario and every possibility. You know what I mean? But it all, he's, you know, I credit him because if it isn't for him, I'm sitting in a computer, like, you know, just staring at like a program and trying to figure something out. But he brings even something as simple as a beat to complete like a song. You know what I mean? Now it has life to it. Now it has a story behind it. So it's his imagination that I've always like kind of like lean on more and be like, what do you hear? What do you do? You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. He's just got his own little antics throughout the records that it's kind of like, man, you know what? That gave me an idea now. Well, what if I, you know, add the hi-hats so the hi-hats line up to your cadence here, or, you know, shit like that it really, it kind of gets you to think a little bit outside the box. You know what I mean? But like I said, I credit to him because if it were every artist I've worked with in the past, they have, of course, like, you know, their own creative approach, but no one, it just, you know, makes it so like, you know, of a vivid experience.
How was it when obviously I got like locked up that time? That was kind of was like really interesting time because he was also like on the rise and then gets locked up. Trump did his thing. Like, I'm pretty sure like for you, like how was that whole like situation? Because like for us from the outside, we just obviously just blogs were going crazy, like blogs going crazy, saying this, saying that, and I just that's, you know, it's like, you know, that's a business stop or something. Like I'm like, how did it?
I mean, I have confidence always in who we're with, you know what I mean? And a lot of credit to, you know, Kodak's attorney, Brad. You know, he you know, he wouldn't have mentioned it if he didn't think it was possible, you know? So at the time that we're, you know, all taking a seat and kind of just like letting, you know, doing the time together in a weird way, it was kind of something that I was like, I don't believe it, you know what I mean? Like, how's a president gonna, like, you know, out of all things gonna get us out of this scenario? But I did have faith in it because, like I said, just the confidence in Brad kind of brought the confidence in me. Like, he wouldn't be saying this for no reason, you know what I mean? Like, when it starts happening and it all of a sudden starts unfolding, and then when he gets out, it really humbles me in the sense that our entire story, there's really no other way to fucking put it than just like, we're so fortunate, you know what I mean? We're so blessed, and we, you know, God has looked out for us in so many different ways. But I do feel like our energy within our own camp is the reason why we keep getting opportunities, because we know that, I mean, we've had to deal with people around, you know, and some people that are just not with us anymore. But just, I don't know what it is. It's like every year goes around, we like shed the fat off who's really supposed to be like in the inner core, you know? And I don't know, like I just said, I feel like it's all credit to God in a weird way, because I don't know. You never, like, you mean Trump could have said no, you know what I mean? Like, so many things
it's insane.
Could have, like, you know, derailed us.
Has that ever happened before? Like a president getting a...
No.
Yeah, so it's just like history was made.
Yeah, and that's our attorney was the one that also did Lil Wayne's thing too. So he did Lil Wayne and Kodak's. He put it at the same time. So to me, it was such like one of those like, okay, yeah, like in the perfect world, Trump's gonna come. And mind you, like despite anyone's politics and how they all feel, like for who he is, it's just like you wouldn't expect that to come out of it. You know what I mean? Like he'll make all the other headlines in the world, but really that's going to be a headline. And then I'll never forget that I think it was like the 21st. You see it like on the bottom of CNN, and then everyone calling you, and I'm like, nah, this isn't.
I don't know how people are going to take it, but I feel like once they do like a real good documentary of Trump, and a lot of people speak out, because I feel like he's done a lot of stuff for people that people haven't really,
We got to remember, we all love Trump before he decided to run for president. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Him and Snoop were all together. You were part of the Comedy Central's roast. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was part of everything. That you didn't take him serious, but then again, you never thought that he'd become someone with a bigger voice. You know what I mean? But in time, you start realizing, like, shit, like, we're in a different world, And then politics is politics. But, I mean, despite, his own personal, like, beliefs and all that, like we're forever grateful for what he did. You know what I mean? Because we don't know, what in his mind would have been like, okay, y'all deserve it. You know what I mean? But it was kind of cool because I was saying to myself, like, this should be a clear indicator that everything we've done, everything we're going towards, it's just something unique. This is literally a one of one. This isn't just another rapper trying to figure it all out. This is something that God keeps telling us, like, you got more to this story, and sometimes me and Yak share that where we know this isn't finished yet. We know the story is like so much more to it. So we don't ever feel like, there's something gonna stop us.
I really hope you guys are documenting anything.
Yeah, no, we do.
Even you yourself, it's like I already know. I get to see it. Yeah. Because you're a legend. Like think about the whole situation. It's unique.
No, I think I think when it's all said and done, it's gonna be something that I really do feel like this is kind of like what I was meant to do because for 10 years before I met Yak, I was engineering, mixing, producing. So. The definition of luck, they always says preparation meets opportunity, but it's so true because it's like when opportunities arise, if you're that prepared, if you're that used to doing things over and over again, there is no reason you shouldn't do a good job for that 100%. Specific. And that opportunity, mine being one of the first times I met Yak, it made me be around for this much longer, all because I was able to like execute, you know what I mean? And it takes your own personal like dedication of what it is you want in your business or industry, Very early on, I would have like, these like, experiences being with this artist or being with that artist that I kind of just like, you know what, the fact that I could do this at 3 a.m. until like 9 a.m. and not bitch or not be like, guys, I gotta go, you know what I mean? That's how I knew for a fact, I'm like, I was made for this, 2 a.m, I get phone calls like, yo, pull up.
Yeah, and that's
I'm putting my shit on, I'm going. I'm like, I don't even think to myself like, bro, I'm tired.
Like, nah.
Yeah, if I get a call at 2 a.m, I'm gonna pretend like I'm asleep. But for some reason, I just know because I've seen it in the past, like where we're not really like focused on working, but then we decide to work, and then like rolling pieces made. You know what I mean? Or like Metro Boomin comes through, plays them damn near 30 beats, and then leaves like maybe 4 at the end because he said no to 30, and that 4th one being the tunnel vision beat. You know what I mean? So it's like little things that you just don't know what's about to happen. And that's honestly why I think I have this weird tendency. I don't sleep and I don't like to like, miss out on sessions because you do not know what you're going to make that night. You don't know what you're going to make that night. And there's sometimes driving home where I'm like, yo, this record's fire. It may not come out for another 6 months, but like I know for a fact that like this shit is like when people hear it, it's gonna do a lot,
Damn, yeah, no, that's so important that's like opportunity cost, something I always talk about with people because it's like, I didn't grow up with a lot of opportunities, so every opportunity I'm taking it, like, because I know I have to, and then something always comes out of it. You don't sometimes think it's going to, but something happens, And
you gotta, to me, I'm big on meditating, you know what I mean? Like, I spend a lot of time kind of closing and really, like, narrowing down, like, what are your intentions? Like, what are you really trying to do in this? Because like I personally am a big believer. I've been doing it for like 3 years, but I microdose psilocybin, magic mushrooms.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
So I know I've been doing it forever, but for some reason I feel like organizing my own world. Obviously through enhancement, it kind of just makes me have a better, clear picture of, okay, this is how I need to, go about things. This is how I need to treat things, and this is what I need to, what's more important, or prioritizing family and your schedule. Things like that just help me kind of get a bigger picture as to like what it is I need to do right now. Because if you look at it from like, outside looking in, all of it's overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like, it's always going to be overwhelming. It's always going to feel like there's plenty to do, you know, but you gotta kind of envision a little bit more of like, look, I know this is what my goal is. I know this is what I'm intended, you know, to do with everything that like, I'm working on, and see things through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely, I 100% agree with you, because I've probably started doing like a microdosing, and I'll do a heavy dose like in quarters, like not too, like not, I can't do like every week, but like
I do
every like,
on, 2 days on, 3 days off.
You definitely, like I'll say, if I have any business, like things that are complicated, I'm trying to figure stuff out, it just opens up your brain pathways where it's just, you're thinking at a different perspective with yourself though. It's kind of hard for me to explain.
I feel like you compartmentalize your whole life better. I mean, I don't know, maybe people do naturally good on their own, but where everything that you need to knock out is like, I think, I don't know, I just feel like you can easily view the overview of like everything that you got going on. And I don't know what it is. I mean, I know, like you say, you know, there's some times where you take a stronger trip and you really feel like, all right, now I'm being, you know, like something's hijacking me, you know? But to me, it's a spiritual Adderall. It's the best way to say it. Like, you know,
that's the best way to say
like it. My whole like perspective and my goals or errands, like it's done with ease. You know what I mean?
I didn't even get into that conversation, but that is definitely one that is needed, because I feel like it helps, especially someone like you that's super busy.
It's chaos.
You're pretty much managing like, you have to manage your own life. You got to manage, it's a whole.
You know, and
details. Chaos.
You know, it's anything can like, you know, start building. But I mean, that's why, you know, mental health is obviously important. Yeah. But at the same time, you gotta get a grip. You know what I mean? You can't let this take over. And I see people lose their minds and go over the top. But like I said, it's just like there's always a bigger picture to this that you kind of have to realize that every day is, like they say, laying a brick to the to the bigger picture. You know, but you gotta just be realistic with yourself. There's a lot of people that are so impatient. And that's the biggest problem, is when you're impatient, is when you end up like, you know, tripping on your own shoelace, you know, in business deals or anything, because you just think like,
makes you act out of character.
Yeah, I mean, trust me. I mean, I personally look for people who are going to jump the gun, you know what I mean? Because now I know a better idea of like, you know, who's really thinking clearly and who's not, you know? But yeah, man, no, I think in time, you know, it's just, experience is the best teacher, no matter how many ways you put it, you know? If you don't go through it yourself, you're never gonna have like a better compass and being like, what am I supposed to do from here on out? You know?
That's so crazy. I mean, I know it's getting late. I know you got some things to run to. But yeah, man, just thank you so much, man. And I love to carry this relationship, and saying
there's so many things we still can be talking
about. I know you have so much on stuff.
This was a beautiful
I'm just like,
likewise, no, seriously.
It's definitely not, because like you just even speaking on just the mental health thing, like that's definitely something that all of us probably struggle with, you know, just because of the time that we're in. It's stuff's just so fast paced. Even when it comes to like success, a lot of people are trying to like jump that. Yeah. They want to jump in. It's a process. Like you have to put in the time, and it's gonna come, you know?
I think you feel good about yourself when you understand what it is your purpose is within your craft. You know what I mean? Like we all have, you know, they say work keeps us occupied, and it's the best, you know, way to not, you know, fall into an idle mind. But it's one of those things that I feel like when you truly give in and like into your passion or into like what you know your purpose is, you feel so much easier going about things, you know? Like I don't stress about going to work and if I have to like leave my dog or I have to like, you know, say goodbye to family, a girl, whatever the whole situation is, I feel good knowing that what I'm capable of, you know, what I can do in this. And then at the same time, everything it's brought you, that, you know, you can't truly appreciate anything until you take a moment to like stop and look back and then be grateful for what it is we have done. You know what I mean? It's little things, man. We were talking the other day about how we saw a car accident in front of us and be like, that shit could have been us, you know? Like, but it's things like that we're like, you know, you gotta be grateful for the littlest things that, you know, we get to go home at night, you know what I mean? And get to wake up and do it all over again, whatever it is we get to do. So I don't know. I guess that's maybe like, you know, just microdosing, like always talking about how to like, just be like, look, man, like, you know, just don't overexert yourself. Never find like, you know, you got to go out of your character just to get something done, because everything can be done in your own like natural, organic, you know.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll say microdosing definitely helped me with that. It's just like having a lot of gratitude just on just the process. Like
it starts there, man, just being grateful, and then from that point on you just understand like what it is you have, what it is you need, and not so much what you want, you know. And you just, you know, you start tackling your day by day, just going after the little, you know, the essentials.
Yeah.
You know, that's honestly all you can do, because to me, as long as my family's good, my friends are good, work's like up to date.
Yeah.
I feel better about the day. You know what I mean? I can just go and bullshit the rest of the day and know like
That's definitely
everything's where it needs to be, you know?
You have a mindset of gold, dude. And I'm pretty sure you probably definitely have like some mentorship, but even on your own team, like you have these talks probably with guys around you.
No, yeah, you try. I mean, look, you gotta, I mean, for something we're doing right now, you gotta have a discussion. You gotta be able to talk to people about anything that's comfortable or uncomfortable. You know, it's good practice for yourself, just kind of shedding skin, knowing that like I can, you know, we can have a conversation about anything, but you know, more than half the time people are scared to have the conversation to begin with, you know? So you gotta address things. And surprisingly, I don't know why everyone in this business wants to feel like, you know, I got it, I don't need any help, but this shit is chaos. Like, there's no way to explain this music business other than the fact that it's literally the Wild West, you know? There's no union rules, there's no, like, there's nothing that says that, you know, this can be done or not get away with, and then this all of a sudden's change, and people asking all these different things, you know what I mean? So,
I mean, you definitely see some people do go crazy. Like we all have probably witnessed people like go crazy from it, you know?
Really? Look at Kanye.
You know, like it could derail you if you're not.
That's why it's so much more important to kind of take those like time, like you say, like maybe go for a higher dose and try, because you got to take a spiritual release from all this, you know, because they always, like, I love, you know, like, you know, when you go through like, you know, your ego death, like it's one of those things where you say to yourself, like, you know what, wow, I can't believe I was so wrapped up in all of this, you know what I mean? And now, like, you know, you're normal, you're like, all right, cool, I get it, of course, you know, gallery department, you know what I mean? Like little things you're like, nah, I can use that, I can use this, I can use that, but you need that reminder that like, shit, you came in this fucking world with nothing, you know? And you're gonna leave in this world with nothing. So you gotta really say to yourself, like, what's really important in all this shit, you know what I mean? But like I said, that's why you gotta just keep going towards your passion, whatever it is, and I think everything starts there.
I feel like our generation's definitely gonna be more people gonna be like, you know, moving towards mushrooms and microdoses. I know it's like legal or something like that in Denver, Colorado.
I think that's what's gonna do it.
Change the world.
Well, with marijuana, it's the same thing. I mean, everyone started realizing there's a medicinal side to it, and now, like, you know, all of a sudden laws are starting to fall down and shit like that. But there's medicine in a lot of shit. You know what I mean? I mean, mushrooms is just the start. You know, you go higher with like.
Do that for sure, because I was scared of it.
Yeah. But I'm starting to realize, like, even something as like shamans here are huge now. You know, everyone's doing ayahuasca and DMT, and that's like a whole other side to it where I'm like, man, when the world finds that out, it's gonna be over. Now everyone's gonna have like
war be over.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like people's beliefs are gonna be flipped upside down, and I think that's what's more important, is that you cannot think that, you know, it's end all be all what we know. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen shit in the past where, I mean, through my own experiences, that I'm like, now I know there's something else out there, you know, and that's it's almost like all I needed was to know that everything we knew may not be true, but then at the same time, there's so much more curiosity left for you to kind of explore, you know? I don't know, I always get excited for microdosing. I microdosed today where I'm just like, my brain just like will start making these connections where I'm like, shit, what am I about to come up with, you know? But you want that, you always want that feeling.
Cedric, you hear what I'm saying? It's not
I'm laser focused on this conversation because I haven't yet.
Yeah, but the thing about microdosing is like, you're not gonna see pink elephants in the sky. You're not gonna trip, but it's just like, you could tell your brain's absorbing, you know, that fundamental compound that's like getting you to do it. But like, I mean, my first time tripping was scary as hell. But I mean, at the same time, doing it in a modest form, I can go see my family. I can go fucking do damn near jury duty if I have to. Like, while being microdosing, like I don't feel like, oh shit, I got to stay inside my room. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's like, but that's to me where I start saying to myself, like, if I'm gonna do it, like same way, like, you know, I don't smoke a joint and say, all right, let me look at my chores. Like, I'll go do my chores and smoke along the way. So it's like I kind of like already in motion of what my intentions were, but microdosing is the same way. Like, I'm not gonna do it and, you know, stay.
I can't wait for you to do it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you're gonna do it and say you feel nothing, and be like, "Look, I don't know what this is all about." You know what I mean? But it's working on you, and that's why I think that I've been doing it for so long. And like, unfortunately, I did it since like almost 3 years ago when my brother passed. So I was helping with me just like grip everything, because it was Yak went away, then my brother passed, and then I was like a whole series of just like, let me figure out how to reset my whole life, basically. You know what I mean? But a friend of mine was recommending it heavy, and he was just like, bro, you gotta keep microdosing, you know? And I do it, feel nothing, still feel like shit the next day, you know what I mean? But over time, I started understanding that I was like evolving my brain now, you know what I mean? Because now it's like between all work, like I process everything way more wholeheartedly now. You know what I mean? Where unfortunately everyone here is gonna die one day. You know what I mean? So I don't think of it like, oh fuck, what a loss. It is a loss, but before anything, now it's more or less teaching me like you gotta live this shit up to the max. You know what I mean? Because I could walk outside and get hit by a car and it's over. You know what I mean? Like you don't know when your time's up, but if you don't live your life to the fullest, like you're really, you're being cheap on yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's so much more, and that's why I think I've embraced so much more of every experience happening, because you don't know when this shit's gonna be over. You know, like that's so you gotta like literally live this up the most. You know, and shit. Hopefully, but like unfortunately, one day when I do pass, you can look back and be like, bro, this kid did everything that came in front of him. You know what I mean? Because that's how my brother was. He literally did everything. He was in front, didn't give a shit. Had $12, he still took a trip to Hawaii. You know what I mean? Figured it out over there. But it's something about that mentality that if you don't want to live your life and really embrace everything coming your way, like I said, man, you're robbing yourself of an incredible experience, probably. You know? Yeah. That's what you gotta go all out. You know? That's why. Shit, like I said, bro, you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
It's all perspective, man, and that it definitely gives you to me, I feel like it gives you a grounded perspective that I feel like if most people have that, it kind of will help them out.
Like I said, it's just you come from a gratitude, you know what I mean? It all comes from being grateful over at least to what you got up to this point, you know what I mean? You gotta like kind of give that its kudos, like, it's an honor thing. Like I honor my own life, I honor everyone's life around me and everything we've done and everything we've been able to accomplish. Yeah.
And then a good practice for someone that hasn't started that gratitude journey that I personally find, very just something simple, easy. It's just like when you guys wake up in the morning, before you touch your phone, before you roll over and kiss your girlfriend or your boyfriend, or use the restroom or anything, before you even open your eyes, just list 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for, and then get your day started. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just start there.
No, I mean, my older brother died from sleep apnea. He passed away in his sleep. So to tell you the truth, it's as simple as something waking up every day that I'm just kind of like, shit, I get to see another one. You know what I mean? It sounds kind of, it's kind of weird sometimes. I don't want to make it like it's down, but it's seriously as simple as that. Like, oh shit, I woke up. That's amazing. Like, I'm down. You know what I mean? Let's go see what today brings. So, but you gotta take a minute and realize that there's a lot of people that didn't fucking wake up today. A lot of people didn't make it home last night. There's a lot of people that people are still wondering where they are and they're missing. So our scenarios can be anything right now, but at least it's just this. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're all comfortable. We get to go home. We get to go. Have people that we love around us still, and we have friends, and we get to do what we love. Man, no one's forcing us to do this, but we're doing it because we literally have this ticking us to say, hey, I don't mind doing this today again, Yeah. But that's something, like I said, once you start there and you start recognizing that it isn't about, everything that you want to absorb and, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. You're just more grateful when it does come around, you know what I mean? You enjoy it that much more,
Definitely, man. Hey, I want to wrap this up, man. Just let you know that you're a freaking legend. Appreciate you, bro. No, we're gonna remember this. We're all gonna remember this. You guys are welcome, because this is legendary. Like, we are literally with the legend right now, and I'm just thankful, man. I'm gonna probably text you every day, bro. Thank you so much. I can't believe that.
I mean, like I said, I'm glad that you guys are doing something like this, because nobody wants to feel like anybody would oh yeah, maybe they care, maybe they don't, but you got to put it in people's faces. Like, look, just like you see everyone else do, these are conversations that we got to put in people's eyes. If you don't talk about this, if we don't discuss it, then we probably did save 4 or 5 people's entire night just to think all right, you know what, maybe I should keep going this, because I know so many people call me bro, I'm quitting, I don't want to do this shit anymore. You know what I mean? You want to come pull up and make beats? Nah, bro. You know what I mean? People lose the thrill in this shit fast, but that's one thing I'm always trying to figure out, how to keep the thrill in this. You know what I mean? It's so important though. But thank you guys.
Blessed with opportunities, man. Yeah, man. I'm gonna definitely just be thankful. I'm in awe that we were able to even get this going and get this happening, and and how kind you are. And I know you probably motivate so many people on your team, because I'm definitely motivated even more of what, because it's a passion project for us, and so it's dope to have someone like you on that.
It all goes towards the bigger picture, man. It really always does. Every effort we put into this shit, it may not feel like it at the end of the night, but it's you're doing your 10,000 hours, and anything. Yeah. It's so important,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Definitely, man.